Good evening. This is the Ask Dr. Renee Show. I am your host, Dr. Renee. If you've never watched our show before, the show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life that you deserve. So, everyone, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is the one life we have. And if you don't make it happen, you don't have another chance. So, why not do whatever it is you've been dreaming and wanting to do? Why not do it right now while you have the opportunity? So some of our past guests have been Diane Valentine. She invented the Valentine cuff. She's also celebrity and event producer to the stars. Also, Paul Carrick Brunson of the Paul Carrick Brunson Agency. He's a modern day hitch. He's a matchmaker. Felicia Butterfield Jones of Ween. And most recently, we have Michelle Williams, formerly of Destiny's Child, gospel artist, Broadway actress, and businesswoman. So we've had a wonderful slew of guests that have all shared their wonderful stories. And tonight's guest, just as wonderful, and going to share her story with us as well. So tonight's guest is Kiki Ayers. And if you don't know the name, I'm sure you will soon, but you probably recognize the face because you've seen her on several red carpets interviewing your favorite celebrities. So welcome to the show, Kiki.
Thank you. It's so exciting to be here, especially after having the great Felicia and Michelle Williams. I'm like, oh, awesome. You want to talk to me? This is amazing. Thank you.
So, Kiki, what were your aspirations as a child? What did you want to be?
Girl, people always make fun of me. I wanted to be a door opener because I like to open in doors for people, and I just wanted to do things to help people. So I wanted to do that. Then I wanted to be an ice skater, an actress, anything I basically saw on TV. So I basically didn't know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. So, Kiki, you had a very interesting childhood. Can you please tell everybody about that?
Yes, I have military parents, so I kind of grew up all over, but I claim Seattle the most because that's where I kind of went to high school. But once my parents divorced, me and my mom, sister, and brother kind of ended up going from house to house to house to house. So we would, my mom was like Trini, so people always make fun of Jamaicans saying they have like 7 jobs. But my mom is kind of like that. So I always saw someone working. But she got sick. She got diagnosed with sarcoidosis, which is the same thing Bernie Mac actually passed from. He got pneumonia while he had sarcoidosis and then passed from that. So she kind of had to slow down and went from working all these jobs to like one part-time job. So then we ended up getting evicted, ended up in a car, me, my sister, brother, and mom. Sleeping in a car, and I was like 16 when this happened, still going to school, and no one knew. Still got dressed in a car, still smelled good. I know there's perception of people that are homeless. They're like, you don't look homeless or smell homeless, but I always consider myself lucky because I was in a car. There's people on the street every day without shoes, without food, and definitely without coverage, getting rained on, and it's so cold, especially in winter in cities like New York and anywhere on the East, basically. So I always consider myself lucky, but that to me really molded me to who I am today. Definitely my childhood.
Well, that is amazing. How many siblings do you have?
I have a little brother, older sister, and I have 2 half brothers, so I have 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long were you guys in the car?
We were in the car probably about 3 months or so. We thought it'd be like a week or 2, and then it ended up being a long, long time. And my sister would go to work, and my mom would go to work. I would take my brother to school, and then I would go to school. But then it was so boring after school because it's like we had nothing to do, so we would spend all our time in the public library, just studying, doing work, or, eating McDonald's, and people don't think about things like that. It's like you have nowhere to shower. You can't go home and cook food. You can't watch TV. You're in that car all day. So, yeah, that's that's about how long yeah.
And so what city was this in?
This was in Bremerton, Washington, which is like a few minutes from Seattle, Washington. So small town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I completely understand your mom being Trini because my dad is Antiguan. So
Yes.
yeah, so West Indian girls unite, right?
Yes, yes, girl.
I completely understand that. Well, so before your parents divorced, being a military family, you guys moved moved around a lot, right?
Yes, definitely moved around a lot.
And so I think that probably helped you to lead into the job that you currently do because you're very easily adaptable to situations, I'm sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm people call me crazy all the time because I will just pick up and leave and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm moving." Like I go wherever the opportunity is. Like, if you send me Antarctica, if that's where the opportunity is to get me on air, I'll be in Antarctica. Like I don't mind moving at all. I'm up for that. Some people are always like, when the time is right, and it's like the time is never gonna be perfectly right. You just gotta go and do it. So yes, definitely.
That's my mantra. Live the life you deserve. Do not wait.
Yes.
Do it now.
Now.
And one of my friends says, do it afraid. That's it. Do it afraid. Just whatever it is, you just need to do it.
Love that. Love that.
Nike came up with a very good slogan. Do it. That whole I'm trying to do this. Well, I'm trying. No. Don't try. Just do.
Yes.
So you went to high school in Washington. Now, how did you end up? Well, first of all, I know you went to community college.
Yes.
So was a community college in Washington?
Yeah,
well?
I was
okay.
When I was right after it was probably like a month after we got out the car situation. I was 16. I wanted to really write for the high school newspaper, but they wouldn't let me write because they're like, seniors have priorities, and I was like, I write better than them. Like, just let me write. So I wrote this program called Running Start, where I can take community college classes and high school classes at the same time. But then I just ended up taking them all at the community college. So I was 16 when I enrolled in that. And all my friends to this day are older than me. They're like, she's a felon teen. Don't talk to her. She's only 16. So yeah, I got my high school diploma and my associate's degree at the same time. Yeah.
That is very aggressive, as
Yes.
one of my dear friends says. That is crazy.
Yeah, it was fun.
I mean, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
So how did you end up at Howard University in DC? I mean, that's not close to Washington,
Right.
first of all.
And
so
that's where that military experience comes in again, where you just pick up and move. So a lot of Washington, the part I lived in, Birmingham, Washington, it's a good place, but when you have small towns, there's really not a lot to do. So people there, it's a military town. So you either join the military. A lot of my friends were getting end up pregnant, or end up in jail. People just get bored and do dumb things like, oh, let's go rob a house today, not knowing you didn't do serious time for that. Like, this is not something light. So I always had it in me. Like, I knew, like, I need to get out of here at some point. And that's what I worked towards the whole time I was in community college. I was like, my whole goal is to get out of here. So at this time, neither one of my parents went to college because they were both in the military. So I was first generation. And I kind of just started hearing about HBCUs. I didn't even really know about it, never really even thought about college until I was at the community college. So I looked at Howard, fell in love with Howard. I was like, oh my God, all these celebrities did it. Because I in Washington, you don't really see that. We have the radio station, we have the local station, but no one's like really coming through there the way they are in LA or New York. So I had this best friend, Ashley Moore, and she was also in that Running Start program at the school. And she was going to Wazoo to stay local, stay in the state. And she convinced me. She's like, girl, you need to stay here. You're going to be so far from family. It's cheaper to stay here. Like, university and community college price is completely different. So I started thinking about it. I was like, I have a friend to go with. I'll go there. Probably about like 3 months after that, she ended up passing away in a car accident. She ended up passing away in a car accident. So I was like, okay, now I'm not going to go to Wazoo. I'm not going to go there by myself. I didn't even really want to go here. And then eventually just started looking at Howard again. So I know it was just like the question at Howard. Everyone's always like, why do you choose Howard? I feel like every Howard student has gotten that question. I always say Howard chose me because had Ashley still been here, I would have been at Wazoo, which is also a great school, but I would have never left the state. Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible that your friend died, but
Yeah, definitely.
Did you apply to other HBCUs or it was just Howard?
It was just Howard as far as HBCUs. I also applied to American University. And I got into both, but my whole thing was going somewhere where I could do the internships that I wanted to intern. So it was really a toss between New York and DC, but I really loved Howard. So I was like, I can do BET there. I looked at all the radio stations, and they had a lot more there, of course, than Washington State. So I was like, I need to be somewhere where these places are. And Howard just seemed like an amazing school. So I ultimately chose Howard.
Well, like you said, Howard chose you, so that
Yes.
is wonderful. So what was your major?
Broadcast journalism and TV production. Yes.
So like you said, you went for the internship. So what internships did you do while you were there?
Girl, people used to make fun of me and tell me I minored in internships because I went crazy. I was like, they don't have none of this in Washington. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, Mom, I just walked past BET. Like, you only see that stuff on TV. So I was so excited. So I think I went a little too hard. I got so stressed out. Like, hair stuff. I tried to do too much at once. But my first internship was at a local station called WPGC, and Big Tigger had been there. And I was like, oh my God, this is where Big Tigger has been. Because at the time, he was off BT for a while. So that to me was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm going to intern where Big Tigger's at. After that, I ended up got an internship at MTV for the summer, moved to New York for the summer, interned there, and worked full time. I felt so grown at 19. And then after that, Atlantic Records, BET, they put me on as a PA after just a week of interning there. And I was like, this is amazing. I got to do all the word shows, got paid to work it. So it kind of started while I was still in school. And then I did NBC, and then I finally graduated.
That is funny.
Yes.
And, hey, you got a lot of experience. You had a nice resume when you left school.
I did. Yes, that was the goal.
Exactly. So when you left school, what was your aspirations like when you were doing all this broadcast journalism? I know you said you wanted to get on TV. So what did you want to do on television? Did you know?
I didn't. At that point, I kind of got discouraged by people who, they would ask me, they'd be like, oh, what are you going to school for? And I'd be like, broadcast journalism. And they'd be like, oh, so you think you can be Roxy from 106 in Park, or you think you can be on E and da-da-da. And I got so discouraged. So I was like, this production thing is working out. Let me just stick to production. So I told everyone at Howard, I was like, I'm going to move to New York and work at MTV. I didn't know how, it took me a few months after I graduated to get a job. But finally got MTV, and I was just doing the production development side of things. And then after that, went to Jerry Springer, which no one really knows about that. Worked on that show for a little bit. Came back to MTV, and I was in New York, and randomly, I was just like, you know what? I love this place, but this is not what I want to do. So I kind of just didn't know where I was going to go next and quit my job and told people I'm moving to LA. And they were like, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy? I thought it was your dream job to work in production at MTV. And I'm like, no, that's not my dream job at all. So it wasn't until I got to LA, I was working at Revolt. That's what kind of got me to LA. And then about a year after that, I was like, let me do this hosting thing. Like, this is the place to do it. So finally stepped out and did it, not caring what anyone thought or how to do. And I was just at a point where I was like, you're not going to settle, especially for people that you don't really know and have things to say about. You never seen you even host or at all. And I just went for it, and I went hard. I've only been doing it for like a year and a half, and I've covered like every event, every carpet, press junkets, and it's just something I love to do. I would work full time and do that full time as well. So I just needed to get that real together.
Well, you got it together. You're really very impressive.
Thank you.
Very impressive. So what did your parents say about your aspirations in television?
My parents didn't know nothing about it. They're like, my dad was like, it's competitive. And when I moved to LA, he's like, that's some of the fakest people you'll ever meet. And I was like, okay, Dad, like, but he was right. He knew right. But my parents are always like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, they want to see a plan. They don't want to hear, oh, I just quit my job because I'm not happy. They're like, what are you, like, we're not happy either. We still got to keep a job. I was like, I don't have no kids or nothing. So, I mean, they were eventually supportive when they saw that things started working out. And not that they weren't trying to be supportive. It's just when you have parents and loved ones, they kind of tend to limit you, not on purpose, just because they care. So they're like, what are you doing, girl? Like, you have this job. A lot of people would kill to have this job, and you're just giving it up. Are you sure about that? But like when I want to do something, like I'll get it done. So they're just now starting to understand that and not worry so much when I make crazy moves and life decisions. So yeah.
And I mean, it seems to be working for you.
So far, so far.
right. It will continue. I have no doubt that it will continue to work for
Thank
you.
you. That means a lot coming
No
from you.
doubt.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome. That's really interesting that you went to MTV. Now, Jerry Springer, were they in Chicago then?
They actually moved from Chicago to Stamford, Connecticut. So when I was living in New York, I would take a
Okay.
metro to Stamford and commute back in. But that was like 80 plus hours a week. And like when I left that job, people were like, I was like, did you hear me? 80 plus hours a week. And then you got to commute. So I don't mind working hard at all. But at the end of the day, you know, it's so easy to get caught up in this industry to get your foot in the door. And you have to take a step back and be like, is this what I actually want to do? So I don't mind working hard, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to be a producer at Jerry Springer. I don't want to be executive producer at Jerry Springer. So what am I working towards? So I left. But Jerry is amazing. Funny man, awesome, supportive. So yeah, it was good.
That is, I knew that they left Chicago. I just didn't know when. That's why I was
Right,
like, wait a minute.
exactly.
Yeah, because I knew they were here. I know some people that worked for Jerry here in Chicago.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Hmm. So that had to have been an experience, though, Jerry Springer.
Definitely an experience. I honestly didn't even know. I got a random email to interview, and I didn't even know they were still on. I thought it was syndicated. I was like, Jerry's still on? Because Jerry's been on for like 22, 23 years now. So yeah, it was definitely an experience. I saw some crazy things. You put two sisters on stage, they will fight, honey. They will. They go back from childhood, from like you took my cookie to mom likes you more than me to dad like those sisters will fight. So it was definitely entertainment, and it really helped me with like producing and writing and stuff. So it was definitely a great experience, and I got the Jerry beads in a clean way though, in a clean way.
Well, that's good. And like I said, your resume is just so elaborate. It's just crazy. You should be able to write your ticket for anything. So
Thank you.
now that you're in LA, what, you do the hosting, but so what do you do, what can you do, that will either further you in hosting or will, sustain you enough to, keep it going?
I actually I do a lot of things, but I kind of got rid of the 9 to 5 thing because I was like, sitting in front of the computer for corporate just wasn't for me. And that's not a shot at anybody. It's just not for me. I don't know if like, I just can't focus. Like I would do my work so fast, get up and walk around. Like I would do my work again, get up, go on a walk. Cause I'm like, I can't sit here. Like it's driving me insane. So I've been working on leaving corporate probably about a year before I ended up leaving Revolt to make sure I was set. So a lot of the jobs I have now, I don't even need to be in a certain state. I can do it anywhere that it has Wi-Fi. So I write a lot for a lot of publications, and then I host for Russell Simmons' Global Grind, LA correspondent there. Literally just got a job at Forbes about like 3 days ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So just doing everything, and I just want to do what I love and what's fun for me. Like I started off in hard print journalism, moved on to broadcast. So if I can do both, that's like a win-win. So definitely got to pay these bills,
Exactly. What did you do with Revolt? Because Revolt's so new, I think people still don't quite understand exactly what it is because it's not on everybody's TV.
It's not. At Revolt, I started off in music programming, and that was basically all the programming because it was like the old school way, like MTV, where they play all the music videos. So I knew it was going to be a music station. I wasn't expecting a music video station. So my department, we were small. I worked, honey. Like they worked me so hard. But I loved it. I loved Revolt. It was really cool to be a part of history, really launching a network. So that was really cool. And then about a year and a half after working there, I got promoted to a content producer. So I would go find great things, do all these specials, whether it was Women's History Month or Black History Month, and really get people involved. My whole thing was making a platform for people. There are so many dope people out there that aren't heard just because they don't have 100,000 followers or this and that and a third. So that was my big thing, getting these amazing dope people on Revolt. And of course you got the people that are always like, oh girl, let me get on there. But it's like, if it's not there, the talent's not there, whatever. So we were always being meetings and people would vote on things, but it was a lot of fun. And I was really thankful they gave me that creative control, especially at my age. Because a lot of people wouldn't be doing that till like 35 or whatever. So to be a content producer, I thought was amazing.
And then you worked at Global Grind too, right?
Yeah, I'm still at Global Grind, and I had been trying to work with them for a while. Then, because I noticed they didn't have an LA correspondent, so I was like, "Hey, hey guys, I'm here. Let me know if you need anything." So they just like revamped the website, which looks really great now. So once they like got their whole plan in order, everyone comes with a new year, new plan. They hit me up and they're like, "We're gonna be in contact as soon as we get our stuff straight." And I was like, "Oh, they're never gonna call me back, whatever." Moved on. And then this was like January, and then April, I got an email, and I was like, thank you, God," because I really, really like Global Grind. I've been trying to get on there for some time now, so I'm very thankful for that. They let me. I'd write, edit, and host there because that's more money. That's 3 checks instead of 1. So I was like, yeah, love Global Grind.
Yes, that is awesome, and that is wonderful that you were so persistent. Please tell people, especially millennials,
Yeah.
not a whole lot of millennials have your mindset. Let's start there.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I think you know that. No, I think you know that. Yeah.
I do.
So there's a lot of different adjectives that have been used to describe that generation that have not been so wonderful when it comes to working. So if you could explain how important it is to be persistent, that would be awesome.
I would say 99% of every job or internship I've gotten is because of that. You can't send one email and then be like, "Oh, I tried," or get a list together of, all these places you want to apply to and send it to 2 and think you're going to get a job when you graduate, especially when you don't have any internships or any type of work experience. Like, I think people, especially college students, get so caught up in the hype of the university or being the popular one on campus, or, doing a homecoming committee or this and that and the third. And it's like, that's great, but when you graduate and you're in that room and you're interviewing, if you're even lucky enough to get to an interview and they ask you what your experience is, nobody wants to hear, "Oh, I was on homecoming committee for 4 years." They're going to look at you like, "Okay, what can you do for my company?" So you have to be persistent. You have to follow up with people. People are busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not here just to check your email. They're getting hundreds of thousands. A lot of people get hundreds of emails a day. So, I mean, don't go crazy and stalk them, but like after a few days, it never hurts to follow up. It never hurts to do informational meetings with people just to see what their company is about. Because you got 10,000 people sending them resumes, but you don't have someone sitting down with them and meeting them. Once they meet you and like you, they're more willing to help you. They're not looking at a piece of paper, they're looking at you. So I'm very persistent. People ask me all the time, like, "What's your advice?" I'm like, Google.com. You have to go get it. No one's going to hand you. Like, no, that's really what I say. Everything I've gotten has been on Google. Like, I need to send them a letter and thank them. Seriously, because I Google everything. The contact information is there. You want an internship? The link is there to apply. You know what I'm saying? You just have to look. You can't always ask people for things when it's very possible for you to get it yourself. So persistence is key.
I totally agree. They say that's my middle name. I totally agree. I have told people several times that just because you sent the one email, you never know. They may not have got it.
Yes.
And so they may, literally, legitimately, it may have fallen into junk or spam. You just don't know. So you need to not assume that they're saying no. You need to follow up and see, maybe possibly something happened and they didn't read it in the first place.
Yeah, even if you follow up and they say no, now you know it's a no, and you can move on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
no, and that's what I'm saying. No, as a matter of fact, somebody just said, Michael Conley just said, no means next opportunity.
Yes, love that. I love that. Yes.
So he's like, I'm okay with the no, because then we just move on to the next opportunity.
Yeah, you can't get depressed over that. Like, there's gonna be so many no's. You can't work everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So some of those no's are blessings. Honestly, like, you'll find that out later. Some of those no's are blessings. Get something way better.
I say their rejection is God's protection.
Oh, girl, I'm about to write down all these goals.
I'm trying to remember who said that one. I can't remember. I think it might have been Tia and Tamara Mowry on something they said it, but
I love them.
that,
Yes.
yeah. So, but that's the truth. It's not always supposed to be that way. So, how do you push yourself in the rough times when things aren't going well? Are you like me that just you have faith and you just, you try to 364 days try to keep it together and then you might have one off day?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of off days, and people always think I have this glamorous life because they see Instagram. Like, I don't post everything on Instagram. I use it as a promotional tool. I'm like, hey, I'm covering this red carpet. You won't see me, hey, I'm in the club, but you will see me, hey, I'm covering this red carpet for so and so, or just interviewed this person. But that doesn't mean I have a glamorous life. And if you continue, when I have off days and days where I'm like, okay, you're not doing enough, you didn't do enough this week, you didn't cover enough this week, I will sit there and look for everything and everything to cover and send out a whole bunch of emails. And then you give it about a few days or a week, and that's when they all come back to you. And then you're super busy and they're like, dang. But you can't sit around and get depressed and drink it, drink over and smoke over. And like, you're not accomplishing anything. That's the reality of the situation. You got to just, if it's not enough, make it enough. Go get some more. Go harder. So that's what you got to do. I hate when people do that. They just like cry about everything. I'm like, girl, like
The time you waste crying over it.
Yes.
You could have, you missing the next opportunity. Somebody else just got it.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Yeah. It's probably me. Or Dr. Renee.
So what are your thoughts on, a lot of millennials feel like interns should be paid. So what are your thoughts on that?
You said internships should be paid?
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like right after I graduated, the next year, everywhere I interned at started paying. I was like, really? Y'all owe me some back pay. I was over here like, oh my God, like how am I even get there? I ain't even got money for the metro. Like, oh, Kiki, you gonna eat lunch? I'm like, I ain't even got money for lunch. I got these snacks right here. But I mean, I was never like, oh my God, I need to get paid. I was just so excited to be there and to be working. And internships are so important because it will let you know where you want to work and where you do not want to work. It will teach you about different departments. It will teach you about people, and you can't do things for money, especially when you're just starting off. It's like, who are you to demand money from these people? All these people intern. So if the opportunity is worth it, I mean, I feel like that's better than money. The opportunity, I always take opportunity over money, because that will get you money in the long run. That will get you way more than what you're getting, that $10 internship, $10 an hour internship, that opportunity. So I don't know, you just can't be picky. And I feel like a lot of millennials are, and they're like, feel like they deserve things and things should be handed to them. And it's like, you got to work for it. I worked my butt off as an intern, honey. They gave me a super intern folder. I was tired. I would run everywhere. I would lift more than the men. They'd be like, oh, you showing off now. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to go home. Like, I'm trying to get this done. And you can't just expect people to hand things to you. So if it's worth it, if it's where you possibly want to work, I don't understand why you would ask for money. Like, it is what it is. But most of them pay now. So unfortunately for me,
things are changing. Right. things are the tides have changed, as they say.
They definitely have. People are saying.
Which that doesn't make sense either. But
right.
So so how effective has let me say this. Has networking played a big part in your success, do you think?
I would definitely say so, because I don't network as far as people are always like, go to this party, it's a networking event, and a lot of networking events aren't networking events, they're parties. But the way I network is through informational meetings, setting up informational meetings with people like, hey, like, I'm this and this, I want to do this, if you have time, can you meet with me? And people will honestly do it, because a lot of people love talking about themselves. Like, people love to talk about themselves. They will tell you, honey, this is what I did. This is what I worked for. This is how I got there. So, yeah, I definitely through informational meetings and stuff. That's how I network.
Yeah. So the informational meetings, do you cold call or do you cold email these people, or?
I email them and I'll send them, okay, this is what I've done so far. This is where I'm trying to go. Can you give me some advice? I'm not going to ask a stranger, hey, can you be my mentor? Can I bother you all the time? Ask you the questions? I'm going to ask you, can you meet with me? Can you, the first one I did, I was so scared. It was with Stephen Hill. president of BT, he was so nice. He was like, this is right. And I think he was a big part of why I decided to leave New York and go to LA, because he was like, you're on the right track. He said, most people come in here and they have no idea. Like, he thought I wanted a job. He's like, you already have a job. Like, I honestly don't even know how I can help you except for start hosting if that's what you want to do, and then send me your stuff. He's like, I love watching people's clips all the time and seeing them grow, and I will give you feedback. And I was like, you know, Stephen Hill said that I'm about to leave and go to LA and send him my stuff. So yeah, I definitely email people and just ask them like, hey, if you have time, if you have 30 minutes or 20 minutes or even 15 minutes, can I sit down with you? I will come to you if you can just help me, give me some advice. So it's not like, hey, I need this internship, or hey, I need this job. It's like, can you just give me that? To me, that knowledge is worth
Priceless.
so much more. Yeah, it is so priceless. So priceless.
Yeah, that's a great way to do things. And you know, a lot that was kind of, I want to say it's kind of old school, because I've heard a lot of older people mention that they did stuff like that. But
yes.
you know, you don't hear a lot of young people doing that. They just send an email, oh well, we can get a response, and they like,
Oh, no, you got to get creative. At a certain point, because it took me a while to get a job after college, I would fax them my resume. I'm like, everybody emailing them, let me fax them. Attention, so-and-so. And they're like, what? Like, I got a fax? Yes, from Kiki Ayers. I did fax you my resume. You got to get creative. Like, you have to get creative.
you're right, because the fax machine probably wasn't doing anything.
No.
Oh, no, seriously. So they
No,
were probably like in a state of shock, like, oh, we got a fax today.
So many people called me and laughed about that. They're like, well, you got my attention. I was like, I had to do something. I had to do something. So get creative.
So what would your advice be to somebody who is in college now that wants to get into entertainment, any part of entertainment?
My advice would be, one, don't be afraid to work for free. And you can't think of it as working for free. You have to think of it as working towards building something. I didn't have a reel when I first started, so I did all those carpets for free. But for me, it wasn't like, oh, I'm working for nothing. It was like, I'm working towards this reel. So you have to have that mindset. Now, if you're working for free and someone sends you to go do something, like it was a carpet, like if there's a carpet someone sends me to and no one's going to be there, and, they wouldn't even cover it themselves, it's okay to say no. And then I say, I'm like, I'm working late at Revolt, or something. But if it's worth your time and there's people there, like, you shouldn't even be thinking about money. I'm like, wow, I got this person in my reel. That's way more than that $10 or whatever you would have gave me to cover this carpet or whatever. So don't be afraid to work for free. Definitely be persistent. Persistence, don't stalk though. There's a fine line between being persistent and stalking. And I would say just go hard. People are just so afraid to do things. A lot of people tell themselves no before they even give anyone the opportunity to tell them no. I'm like, hey, do you want to apply for this job? This would be perfect for you. No, I'm never going to get that job. And I'm just like, okay, did you try? Like, you have to try. And people are so depressed. And I understand, how are you going to be depressed when you didn't try? Like, you have to try. If you honestly tried, move on to the next company. Like, you can't dwell, you can't dwell on it. Just go to the next thing. So that's my biggest thing that I see people all the time. And the way they approach people too. I will get all these DMs. I'm sure, girl, you already know. Like, I'll get all these DMs and they'll be like, hey, we need to talk business. Business. And I'm like, okay, one, what's your name? What business do, like, how is that? Like, that's the approach. I would never, ever come at someone, whether it was an internship or a job, and be like, hey, this generation is so quick to tell people what they want and how the company is going to help them, but they never tell the company how they can help the company. And it's not about you. It's a business. They want to know what you can do for them. So that's what I always start with. I'm like, listen, this is what I can do for you. If you just give me the opportunity, I promise you within 2 weeks, you will be like, I love this girl. I promise you. Just give me the opportunity. I'm not asking you for a favor. I'm asking for the opportunity to prove myself. So they got to work on that approach, because I see it all the time. I'm like, you don't know me. And like, you have to be knowledgeable. A lot of people hit me up about music. I don't do any, I'm not an A&R. I can't sign you. I've never been in a studio with an artist. You know what I'm saying? You have to research and know who to reach out to. Me as an entertainment reporter, I know, okay, I need to reach out to the managing editor. That's who I need to reach out to if I want to do that. You have to be knowledgeable, and people won't take the time to do that. They disconnect it all. Like, journalism is not the same as a record label. Like, I cannot tell you how to get your artist on Billboard. Like, I can't. I wish I could. When you find out, let me know. Like, that's dope, but I can't tell you how to do that. So that's what I tell them. Be knowledgeable, be persistent. Don't be afraid, you know, to go after things, and just go hard. If you want it, you'll get it. Like Dr. Renee.
That is too funny. You're silly. You're funny because that is some of the exact same things I get.
I know.
I'm like, why are you emailing me?
Right.
Now, granted, yes, I do have some soirees in the music industry, but I am not an A&R. I don't own a label. So why are you tweeting me your music?
Right. Right. Exactly.
I don't know you. Like, this is totally unsolicited.
Right.
I don't,
Right.
Can you tell me what you think? Why me? So I completely understand, because you literally sound just like I do. I'm like, do your research. Do not pitch the health editor about your athlete.
Right. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, do your research and figure out who's the right person I'm supposed to talk to.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because it just blows my mind. And I'm like, did you even pay attention to what I do before you sent this email?
Exactly. Oh my God.
You just saw a picture of me with somebody and you just thought.
Right.
So
yeah.
I completely understand, because that is so frustrating. And it's just like, if you would just take two, and honestly, in the day of Google's my best friend too. In the day of Google, it would take you 2 seconds to figure out the information you needed to know. Whereas because when I first started entertainment, Google wasn't the thing it is now. I had to call this one to call that one to call, I had to do a lot of legwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, with Google, you can figure out anything. People think I'm joking.
No, everything
you can
is
Google
on there.
everything.
Right.
What is my, how long should my reel be? How short it should be? You can literally Google everything and it'll come up with an answer for you.
It will. It's amazing.
It is. And that's why I keep telling people, no need to reinvent the wheel. Somebody else probably already did that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on Google. If you just Google it, I'm sure you'll find it. Obviously, don't copy what they did, but at least you'll know the process.
Exactly.
If it worked for them. So who are your mentors?
I love Felicia. Felicia is amazing. I bother Felicia occasionally and ask. She's I don't know. I don't know about the word mentor, because even people ask me to be the mentor. I'm like, I'm not qualified. I'll help you, but I can't mentor you.
You know what? I had someone else on the show, and they said the same thing.
Did
and
they?
Now that same person is doing. He's doing these sessions. He charges, and people pay him to show them what he did. And that's what I told him. I go, you can mentor people because you got somewhere. You might not be where you're trying to get yet. Like, he's still a work in progress, but he is somewhere further along than other people.
That's true.
That's
true.
what I'm saying. So you could mentor somebody that's a freshman at Howard, because you could tell them, who to talk to, because I'm sure the same department heads are still there. You could tell them who to talk to. You could tell them, about the different places to look for internships. So you could mentor somebody. It's on different levels. You know what I mean?
Look at you trying to get me some money. I love that, Dr. Renee. I'm about to put out an ad on Craigslist.
I mean, you could coach, you could mentor. Mentoring is free. Coaching costs money.
Right,
FYI.
exactly.
But you could definitely help somebody else to foray themselves so that they graduate, from school, period.
That's so
at
true.
least, So, and so I understand what you're saying, but this is what I told him. And literally, I think he was on the show in May, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like 2 months ago, I saw him post about he's going to have a video webinar for this long and this how much it costs. And I said, see,
This is
I
why you're the
told him.
doctor. This is why you're the doctor. This is why you're the doctor,
I
Renee.
said, see, I told him, I said, people would pay you for that information because clearly you know what you're doing.
Right. Well,
So,
thank you. Well,
and the
then I
same
will
thing
do
with
that.
you.
I will
Exactly.
do
Same
that
thing
then.
with you.
Yes.
So who do you admire in the industry?
I admire people based on who they are as people from what I personally seen. And, so people will be like, who do you look up to? And I'll be like, Oprah. And they're like, oh, that's not bad. And then I'll be like, Kendrick Lamar. It doesn't mean I want to be a rapper. That just means I love what he's doing to influence the culture. Same thing with Kevin Hart. Like, Kevin Hart is such a humble
He's
person.
amazing.
Amazing and successful. And that's what I want to be like. I want to be, no matter how big I get or don't get, I want to be happy like that. I want to be an influencer and I want to help people. So that's how I look at people. I love Kevin Hart, love Oprah, love Kendrick Lamar, just anyone that is still humble and appreciative of everything they have in life. Those are people I look up to. For me, success is happiness. It's not being Instagram famous or being reality TV show famous or being famous, period. It's not having $1 billion. And I say that now only because I've seen some really rich people, and they're some of the most miserable people I've ever met in my life. Because you would have asked me that when I was in college trying to pay tuition, I'd be like, oh no, honey, when I get $1 million, I'll be like, I need my private jet and did it. And that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. So those are people I look up to because I think that's so amazing. Their hearts are so amazing.
I totally agree. I am not very familiar with Kendrick Lamar. I'm revealing my age,
Yeah.
but I am totally familiar with Kevin Hart, and that's halfway because Rael Watkins is my big brother, and he's a comedian. And then we've had Rodney Perry, Keir Spades Jr. from the Steve Harvey Morning Show, also comedians on the show. And so I have a lot of comedians in my space, so I completely know all the stuff that Kevin Hart has going on. And it is amazing how he is truly helping other comics to get their start, because he remembers he was there one time. And that's important, that you remember exactly where you came from. And you try and help people along the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
And of course, I love Oprah. Everyone knows I love Oprah.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
If you don't love Oprah, there's something wrong with you.
No, there's a lot. I know a lot of people that don't like Oprah.
I know.
And I think something strange with their brain chemistry. I'm just kidding. But I have loved Oprah forever, and that was one of my original goals. As soon as I moved to Chicago, I am going to the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I'm going to meet her.
Yes.
And my first time was in 2004, and I did. And then we got a picture and everything, and I told everyone, I said, this is what I'm doing. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And they were like, no, you're not. I said, okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't worry about it. And then I came back and told them I did it. They said, no, you didn't. I said, oh, it'll be on TV. You can check it out.
Right. That's amazing. That is so amazing.
I went to the Oprah Winfrey Show every season that I lived here, except for 2, I think. And then I was at the finale at United Center.
Oh, nice. That's amazing. I'm so jealous. Like, you have no idea how jealous I am of you right now. Like,
I said, I have to go. And it was funny how I just kept getting the opportunity to go. And it was not through a hookup or anything. It was legitimately, I would submit online and they'd call. I'm like, oh my gosh.
They love you. They love you. They felt your energy through online. Like, they felt it through the internet. They're like, we have to have this girl here. That's so awesome. I'm so jealous.
I felt like it was really, truly divine order. So, because I knew a lot of people that have lived here a long time that didn't get these opportunities. So I do feel like it was divine order. So I have 2 pictures, 2 lovely videos. And so.
I'm jealous. That's all I can say. I'm so, the envy is real right now. Like, you have no idea. I'm happy for you though. I am happy for. I'm not hating you. I'm happy for you. Right. Yes.
Well, you're gonna get your chance. I know it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're in LA. She's out there now.
Yes, I'll tell her.
Doing the next party for have and have-nots or something, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So, what is the biggest thing that you've achieved so far that you're like, oh my God, I did that?
I think, what is the biggest thing I achieved? I think just actually getting to LA. I did not plan on being here till like 2017, and the way it happened was so quick. Um, but also just getting out of Washington State. That was my big thing. Like, I look around, everyone is still there. And just not being what society told me I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? At my age, I should have like 4 kids. I should be on welfare. I should be damaged goods, as people like to refer to Black women, angry Black women, ignorant, all this stuff, uneducated. So just not being a stereotype, I would say, is the biggest thing I've achieved. And people hear that and they're like, oh, it's whatever, but it's like, it's so real. When you're told at a young age, whether you're a boy or girl, you're going to be this, or you're supposed to be this by society, you start to believe that and you act accordingly. And it's so sad, because I see these little kids out here and they're like, I want to have a sex tape, or I want to be a stripper, or and it's just like so sad, because you wanted to be so many other things before you felt like you had to settle for that. So that's my biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I want to do, is influence people and tell them, you don't have to do that. You can, girl, why you need to be in a strip club at night when you can be on the TV during the daytime? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be anything. A little boy wants to be president, and you're told, oh no, you're in the hood. You can't do that. You got to whip this out of this. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing, not overcoming challenges and not being what society told me I'm supposed to be.
Now, what would your advice be to somebody that found themselves in a similar situation that you did with your family and you guys being homeless? What would your advice be to that child that is in that situation, and just can't figure out how, in God's name, is this actually going to change?
My advice would definitely be to not be a victim. A lot of people use that as an excuse to, not accomplish anything in life, or not accomplish what they want to accomplish in life. Like, when you're an adult and you get older, no one cares what your mom or dad did to you or didn't do for you. No one cares what this person or this man did to you or didn't do for you, because in reality, everyone goes through something. So it's about how you bounce back from it. You have to, I wanted to get out of Washington. I worked hard to get out of Washington. I cried when I got out of Washington. Like, if you just have to stay strong, and it's so much easier said than done, but you just have to know, hey, I don't belong in this situation. I'm going to get out of the situation, and you need to use everything that you're feeling in that moment right now to motivate you to get out of it. That's going to be your motivation. That's what's going to get you out of it. You can't sit there and cry about it, because you're just going to be crying every day, all day. Like, you're not going to be accomplishing anything. So that would be my advice. And I'm here for you. Like, email me, Instagram, anything. Like, I'm willing to talk to anybody, because I know it's serious. I know people go through way worse than what I went through. So, I mean, just you have to stay strong and not let that define you.
Do you have a favorite quote or scripture that maybe motivates you or something?
There's so many nowadays, especially being on Instagram. Like, I'm like, oh, I like that one. And then next time I'm like, I like that one. But yeah, I don't have a specific one. Anything about motivation or happiness. Depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm going through a breakup, it might be a Drake quote. Or Adele, but yeah, that anything about motivation or happiness, or, it depends on what you're going through in life in that moment. When you might see that quote, you're like, ooh, this is speaking to my life right now. But I get a lot of my stuff from church, because church is a form of motivational speaking, and that's why people go there always like, oh, they're talking to me right now, because they really do speak some truth at church, depending on which one you go to. But yeah, I don't have a specific one, but yeah, anything regarding those lines, positivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that always works.
I mean, the two that you spit out earlier were amazing. Like, I gotta write those down. You should email those to me. Like, that might be my Instagram bio. I don't
know. So what would be your motivation or inspiration to a young lady that may be going down the wrong road?
Ooh, my motivation to a young lady is to not get caught up in materialistic things. A lot of girls are like, oh, there's money right here for now. I don't feel comfortable with doing this. I don't feel comfortable with taking off my clothes. I don't feel comfortable about going off with this guy, but hey, he's buying me a drink, or, he has money, or, I can get $500 real quick. And it's just like, you have to look at the the long-term goal. Valicia actually told me something when I was in college. She came and talked to all of us, and she talked about how she saw women basically trying to take shortcuts or sleep their way to the top. And she would say, within 6 months, those women will be gone. And that was so true to me coming up. I saw that literally. I'm like, these girls are gone. Like, you over here sleeping with people for a job. You didn't even negotiate a contract. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gone. And it was so true. And I immediately thought about Alicia and what she said. I'm just like, in real life, there is no shortcuts. Hard work is going to be hard work. You can pose all you want on Instagram. You can do things that make you feel great for a moment. But in the long run, it's not going to pay off. So you have to work. You have to work. You can't get caught up in materialistic things or men that give you promises or do things that make you feel uncomfortable just because it's going to benefit you for a moment. So that's what I would tell them, definitely. And I'll beat you.
Oh, Lord, congrats.
Okay.
No,
you need
that
in life. You need that. You need that in life.
No, you do. You do.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's because they don't have enough of those that's why we have some of the problems we have now, because people don't think about their action today may affect their lives down the road for years and years to come. I do a lot of speaking, and I tell the students about, social media is great, but be careful what you put up there.
Yes, definitely.
It can follow you forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you put it out there, it's out there. You can't pull it back. So, and then, it's not cute to sit there and tweet while you're drunk as a skunk and you're underage. It's just all this stuff. It's just not a good idea, and unfortunately, it's a lot of millennials and younger that are doing that. And it's like, and actually, I had one kid tell me, he's like, well, I'm young. I want to have fun. Have all the fun you want, but you don't have to publicize it all over the internet.
Exactly.
I was like, if you are in a job interview and they've Googled you and they found this, you're not going to look so good.
Right.
So exactly. I said, well, I'm going to speak to the rest of the people here because the rest of them are trying to listen. You stuck on having a good time. So you going to have a good time.
Right. Exactly.
I'm trying to help you. I know what I know because I know that this is the truth. So, yeah. Yes. So how has social media helped you to further your goals and dreams?
Social media has done a lot because I use it again as a promotional tool. So that's the things you put out is going to be recognized by certain people. And a lot of people come up to me like, oh, I know you because you're social media. I'm never out in clubs and parties, even at Howard. That's when I started gaining a following. And people will tweet me and be like, do you go here? Because I never see you. And I'm like, because I'm at work or I'm at my internship. Yes, I go here. But it just helps people become knowledgeable of who I am. And then it's up to me to do something positive with that platform. So that's my whole thing. So social media has helped me a lot. I love social media because I use it the right way. You should use it as a tool.
We have a question. What is the one goal you would like to achieve in the future being in the entertainment industry? Thank you, Ryan King.
Okay. Hey, Ryan. The one goal I would like to achieve is to do something that will live beyond me, and that's what a lot of people are doing. They want to create a legacy. So when I die, I want my work to still live on. That's the main thing I want to do. And in the near future, I would love to be on TV on air. But the ultimate goal is to definitely leave a legacy and to be positive and to be an influencer. Definitely.
So when you say be on TV on air, so you want to sit at a desk? What exactly do you want to do?
It's hard to say exactly just because it changes so much. Like when I was growing up, like my idea of being on air would be 106 in Park or TRL, but it's changing so much. Like in 3 years, I might not even want to be on TV because the internet's blowing up like crazy. They might have some really big boom internet show. I want to be a part of the next big opportunity, the way Free and AJ were a part of 106 in Park, and like, ooh, that job is amazing. Like I wish Carson Daly was TRL. And I'm like, wow, like that was like it was new. It was something different. So I want to be a part of that. So I can't specifically say, but if it was TV, I would want to be reporting. Even if it's entertainment news, you can ask celebrities real questions, and that's what I strive to do. People are always like, they don't talk about real things. It's like, no, we don't ask them real things. When you ask them real things, they'll definitely talk about it. They will
You
talk
just
about it.
keep asking them about what they're wearing.
Oh my God.
They're going to answer.
Exactly.
So that's what you asked.
Exactly. And I don't care about that. Like,
right.
I mean, it's pretty. It's
right.
gorgeous. I would never buy it because I'm a cheap shopper, no matter how much money I get. But, you know,
You
there's more important things. You know, there's more important things going on in the world. So, especially for Black people, you got to do more than a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? So I asked them real questions, and they're like, ooh, thank you for asking me that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So please tell everybody, what can we support you on? If there's something you need us to all go and follow, watch, or something, make sure you let us know all your social media so that they can make sure they follow you and all that great stuff.
My social media is so simple. It's at Kiki Ayers, KikiAyers on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook /Kiki Ayers, and KikiAyers.com. So a lot of Kiki Ayers. Anything Kiki Ayers, you will find me.
And what do you have coming up that we can support you on?
I have AMAs coming up. I have Nickelodeon Halo Awards, and I'm gonna be at the Ween. I think, Valicia, please get me there. Ween Awards. I'm trying to cover that carpet. I just emailed her about that today. So those are the next carpets I have coming up. In Forbes soon, you're gonna see some really good articles from me coming to Forbes.com. Definitely.
Neato. That is really, really cool. I don't think I know a soul that writes for Forbes, so this is new for me.
Thank you.
I know a lot of writing people, so I'm like, that's the one publication that one has never come up. I'm like, oh,
right.
You're gonna make me read Forbes.
Right. Thank
Forbes,
you.
I need to pay her more. But thank you so much, Kiki. This has been amazing. I love your spirit. And like I said, I know you're going to go extremely far. I'm sure I'll run into you on a carpet soon, God willing. And
you will. You will. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys, I will let you know during the week who our guests will be next week, but no doubt it will be somebody else that will motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve, just like Kiki and I are doing. And if you have any questions or comments for either one of us, you can reach us online, of course, at Ask Dr. Renee. I am on all social media platforms. Ask Dr. Renee, just like my little friend says over there on my shoulder. And she's Kiki Ayers everywhere. At my website's AskDrRenee.info. And if you need to email me, you can email me at info@AskDrRenee.info. I will put Kiki's links in the box below us, so you'll be able to get in touch with her if you need to. But please make sure you come correctly, though.
I love you. I love you.
Right. But yes, Kiki is doing big things. We've spoke about this reel because the reel is amazing, and it was the trailer to this video. So if you're on Google Plus, you can click and you can watch the trailer, which is the reel. And of course, you can find it on our website and on our YouTube channel. But it really is a great reel. She has interviewed a lot of great people on a lot of different red carpets. So kudos to her. And yes, we will keep watching you rise and rise and rise, because I know you'll be the next big thing. I know it. I just know it. I'll say I knew her when. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. Next week, same time, same place. Like I said, I will let you know who the guests will be. So thank you so much. This has been the Ask Dr. Renee Show. This was our 44th episode. So thank you so much. And please, if you would like to watch any of the old episodes, you can head over to my site, or you can go to the YouTube channel, Ask Dr. Renee, and you can watch any of the old episodes. They're all there under the playlist called the Ask Dr. Renee Show. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.